Welcome to another episode of Sanford Says. My name is Lisa Holder, Chief Communications and Cultural Affairs Administrator for the City of Sanford. We have a great guest with us today, Cedric Coleman. He's the City of Sanford Utilities Operations Manager, and we're going to talk about another very important topic to our customers, residents, and those in general who want to understand what city utilities is all about, our vacuum sewer system. This has been a hot topic, and we understand that for our community, and we are here to educate everyone, share information about the city's vacuum sewer system, and no better person to do that but Cedric Coleman with the utility department. Cedric, how are you today?
Good morning. I'm well, thank you.
I'm so glad. I know you are so busy out there doing some great work, you and your staff, and we have you here for a few minutes, and we are so grateful because you are the man to share this information with, straight from the source, Cedric Coleman. So
Thank you.
tell us really, please, just the history, or what is a vacuum sewer system, brief history, how it works, and then we could go into some other things about upgrading our equipment, et cetera, and capacity.
Sure. Good morning, and thank you for having me. Our vacuum sewer system was integrated into the downtown historical district back in the late 80s, early 90s, due to regulations where we had to have a separation between the gravity sewer systems and the stormwater systems. The alleyways and the easements that are in that area are extremely full with other utilities, gas, telephone, all those other industries that are up underground. Until with gravity, you would have to have certain depths and certain structures that would be there. At that time, it was found to be the best system to go in because it had minimum depth requirements, because it is actually operated up under vacuum pressure. And it contains 478 pits and about 19 buffer tanks.
Okay. Let's see, first of all, let's rewind real quickly. You're in public works too. What is an easement? So people understand if they are in their yard, if they're back, can you explain to us what you're talking about when you say easement?
Sure. That is the area that is identified for all public infrastructure.
Okay, and so everyone has an easement in their property.
Yes. Well,
Mostly,
yes, because it can kind of depend on the area. Some of them are considered right-of-ways, and some of them are considered easements.
And within the underground in those easements are utility pipes and infrastructure that belong to the respective agencies. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And the call before you dig is a whole nother conversation.
That is, but
right?
Please do that. 811 is very important.
Okay. All right. And so you mentioned 478 pits. Please explain, and 19 buffers, I believe. What is a pit when we're talking about the vacuum sewer system, and how is that important to know, or why?
The 478 pits that we have right now, they are used as mini lift stations, if you will, that would allow up to 3 different dwellings to be on each pit, that will allow a threshold, depending on whether it's a 33-gallon or 55-gallon receptacle. And it has certain thresholds that in there that will allow it to get to a certain volume. Once it gets to that level, the vacuum has a sensor that allows it to come on for 3 to 5 seconds to remove all of the material that's in there down to the threshold that is set for it there. The buffer tank itself, which we have 19 of those, is where it receives the gravity water, because this system still does have gravity that comes into it on the extreme ends of the system. So you can have a multiple amount of places that are coming in onto the buffer tank, opposed to a pit where you have up to 3 at a time.
Okay, and so what responsibilities are there upon the homeowner in regards to what you would ask them to do in terms of their vacuum sewer system? And a homeowner would know that they are on a vacuum sewer system, or if they wouldn't, here's our chance or our time to explain to them, how to determine they are.
Sure.
Cedric?
Well, just like anything else, we ask that when it comes to the sanitary system, whether it is gravity or vacuum, you adhere to good common practices. Toilet paper, pee, and poop. Those are the 3 things that are designed to go into a sanitation system, whether it's vacuum or otherwise gravity. That's most important. Next is check your cleanouts in your yard. Please do not drain any storm water or runoffs or anything other than the three items that was already mentioned into the sanitation system. This is a very specialized system. We have received pieces of a mop. We have gotten pool balls. We have gotten thin set. We have gotten enormous items out of the system that causes not only a problem at that particular pit, but will cause a problem throughout the vacuum system. So those practices are asked, and to know that if you're on the vacuum sewer system, there is a air release valve that will be on the outside of the home that looks like a white candy cane, which we have already coined the phrase of candy canes that are there. So you can always, if you to know whether you're on there or not, and then we will do an informational map to show what the boundaries and stuff are on there. And if you for any other thing, you can always call and we should be able to tell you that.
And what number should people call?
The best number at this time to call to find out for information is 407-688-5100.
Okay, all right. And so I know the city we just had a meeting last night, special city commission meeting about procurement in order to fix some of these concerns about our vacuum sewer system. Can you share with us how that came about, Cedric? And we are ordering new equipment and upgrading. Is that correct?
Yes,
as a result?
We were extremely blessed that the commission allowed us to do this special emergency procurement declaration to get the necessary parts and materials that we would need to improve upon our system. Be due to the hurricanes that we experienced, Ian and Nicole, it depleted the supplies that we had to get the system up and going. We've been challenged with that since actually Hurricane Ian. The parts for this system are extremely expensive. The procurement policy that we have now only had a limited threshold of purchases that we could do. By having a special declaration, we can go ahead on and make immediate purchases to get the necessary supply goods that we have a need for.
Okay, and it seems as if the community residents have reached out and they were calling to the city for help, and we answered, correct, by doing this and by making sure that we have a resolution plan for them to continue servicing their community and in the proper way, with exponentially doing it with efficient and effective service. Is that correct?
That is correct. I am again very fortunate and blessed to have a dedicated staff of very few. My staff has been working nonstop since Hurricane Ian. When it was safe for staff to start coming out, we've been working around the clock to try to work on this. Actually, this system is probably about 5% of our makeup of our sanitation system, but we have probably put 95% of staff's time for the last 3+ months into trying to get this system back up and going. We've reached out to some of our partners in the industry to come in and give us some evaluation help to find out exactly what our problems are. And now that we will be having the procurement policy here, once we do identify this, we will be able to start making moves on making large purchases to get the necessary parts in to try to get the system back up and manageable, so that way we can all be satisfied and get some rest in the evenings and at night, and folks can use their facilities normally.
Yeah, and definitely, I mean, unsung heroes, Cedric Coleman and your utility staff. I mean, what a huge undertaking, and to provide this service to the city, and it's a part of quality of life.
Yes, it is.
And without it, there is no quality of life.
And we have coined the phrase that this is not only our profession, but it's also our passion. So we are extremely passionate about getting the system up and going, because it is just hurtful to all of us to see people who have dedicated services not being able to use the services that they have paying for and expected. So we are working countless hours and other efforts to get the system back up to going as it needs to be.
All right. So do we have the plan is that, do we have a plan to actually proactively monitor the sewage buildups and throughout the city?
Sure. We've always been working on it internally and out in the field with staff. I have tailgate meetings every morning with my staff, and share back with my director and my other managing partners here on status of the system. It is a moving mechanism. Just because we have one situation resolved, it could be something right up the street that just kills all the efforts that we've already done. that's there, because the system does work on the vacuum. And again, at any one time where one of those moving pieces is not functioning properly, it can cause problems throughout the system. And just because we've had so many calls and trying to keep overflows and such down, every time we do start working on diagnosing, we have a call or we have to respond back to pull water down out of a pit so that folks can use services and stuff. So it's just been challenging with limited staff and resources to get the system back up on it.
Right, and we're working on that. We're
We
working
are.
on to correct that. But if you see these gentlemen, and I don't know, there's some ladies working for you,
Not
Cedric?
on this side of things right now,
Okay.
but we may have some. We do have a bunch of positions that are open, so it may be some ladies that are in the balances coming down through for potential employment. So we would love to have anybody that's willing to come in to do this to help us out.
Yeah, and so when you see them out there in the vac truck and you see them in your community, wave and say hello. These folks are just, they, like Brett Cedric said, it's unsung heroes, and they do this with a passion to make sure that our quality of life for our residents is up to par and excellent.
Thank you.
So we talked about putting out information on a regular basis as it relates to water and sewer, particularly right now, the vacuum sewer system that the city of Sanford is responsible for. We're going to be doing that, correct, Cedric?
We are.
And we plan on doing that. This podcast episode is one step. We also have information right now on our website, on the news section. We are going to be using Nextdoor. Sign up for Nextdoor to target particular neighborhoods in regards to their utilities, concerns, and issues. Please sign up for the City of Sanford Nextdoor page. And also, we talked about perhaps a neighborhood meeting, Cedric, right?
That is correct. It's been a vision of mine for some time to come together for the neighborhood of those who are on the vacuum systems themselves and have a communications meeting to give information on how the system works. On what they expect, and when you hear noises with the system, or if you think there's a problem with the system, on the numbers that you need to call, and certain things that are there that is unique to this system where it's not to the traditional gravity system.
Right, and so I'd like to take note too, like the vacuum system is in a community. There's several. We have a boundary map on our website, by the way. There's boundaries to the vacuum sewer system, but a majority of that is in our historic district. And these homes are incredible, and these folks that own these homes are very fortunate to own a piece of treasure and history of Sanford. They're beautiful.
Yes.
So I guess come along with historic homes, there's other types of concerns, maintenance, et cetera. Of course, you rely on your local government to handle that, but it's part of, I guess, I would say the whole picture of living in a home built in the early 1900s. I'm not sure, Cedric, am I correct? Is this, or there, because of the way the sewer systems were built in those days?
It just happens to be due to geographic location of where these homes happen to be, because back years ago this was the staple area for the downtown area, and that's why the treasures of homes and stuff were built to the quality that they are. And with us having that legislation decision that came down that we had to separate the systems, this just happened to be the area that it was easy to do so because of the confines of the alleyways and the easements.
I see. Okay. All right. So, well, I think we have a good amount of information here. Is there anything else that we want to share? We talked about capacity. We talked about our new equipment, boundaries, the staffing, folks that have helping your team going out each and every day, and in the evenings, late night into the wee morning hours to fix these issues for our residents. We talked about an upcoming neighborhood meeting in the near future. Anything, and really what a vacuum sewer system is to begin with. Is there anything else? Cedric, this is a team approach. I know that. We know that here at the city. We're working with the community. Is there any last words you'd like to say?
I'd just like to say to the customers that are affected by the vacuum system area, rest assured that we are spending every hour, that waking hour, and I mean even in sleep sometime, to do the best we can to get this system back up, even reaching out to consultants, even reaching out to engineers, and other folks to come in to give us diagnostics to help get the system manageable, because the last thing that we want to do is not have you, the customer base, being able to not use your facility, not being able to use your yard. So we are doing everything we possibly can to improve upon that, so that way we can be the great city that we always have been.
And that's a perfect way to end this podcast. Cedric, thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you.
always a pleasure. I'm so
You as
glad
well.
that we were able to grab him and have him come up here in City Hall and speak to you, because this is a very important issue, providing quality service to our residents and our customers here in the city of Sanford. You're listening to Sanford Says. This is Lisa Holder, Chief Communications and Cultural Affairs Administrator. You can subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your favorite podcasts and on the city website at sanfordfl.gov and our social media. So stay tuned, stay connected. We are definitely going to be putting out information on a routine basis as it relates to the responsibilities and services that the City of Sanford has for you. And even if you're not living in our city, we hope that you just like to learn about local government in general and enjoy listening to this podcast. Thank you again. Have a great day. Until next time. Bye now.